This video discusses the complete renovation of this house, broken into parts. This is part one, basement. The rear portion was completely demolished and we built a new structure on the rear, including a new basement. We decided to remove the rear addition because it was inferior construction, too far gone, and there was only an 18-inch crawl space. Not much to work with. Note how we temporarily stabilized the chimney with wood. We also used hope and prayers. We separated the addition from the main part of the house with a chainsaw, then rigged some cables and pulled the addition down with an old tractor. It was a lot of fun. After demolition, it was straightforward new construction for the addition. We formed and poured some new reinforced footings and proceeded with the wall. A new foundation is a great add for an old building. First, some information about the house itself. We renovated in 2004. It was originally built sometime in the late 1700s. Have historical documentation that it existed in 1800. It was rebuilt in 1812 by this guy Alpheus Bullard, and then we rebuilt it in 2004. Our rebuild consisted of removing a rear addition that was in very poor condition and had a crawl space. By the way, the building was condemned when we purchased it. This is a hybrid in terms of trying to retain the historical fabric and character of the building, and yet building with new materials as well. The rear is sided with vinyl siding, which I think is a really good siding material because there's little work involved in terms of maintenance as compared to this wood clapboard, which we retained, which requires painting and scraping, every 3, 4, 5 years. Even if you do a good job of prep, it's just a nuisance to paint wood. As much as I like wood, there's a lot of maintenance involved. This is the basement, which we improved a great deal and really made the house a better place. This is a stepstone that we salvaged from the original construction, along with these stairs, which were leading from the second floor to the first floor of the addition, which we tore off. The addition was a crawl space in this area, and it was larger than the space you're looking at now. This is all new construction, modern joists, poured foundation wall, all new plumbing, new electric throughout the building. The walls were gutted and insulated, post and beam construction. And this basement was in terrible, terrible condition, and that's why I wanted to show you this, what you can do to improve an old basement. It had a dirt floor, wasn't level. And what we did is we did some excavation, took out some soil, leveled it up, put a sub base in, and then poured concrete. Before you pour the concrete, this is important, you want to install plastic polyethylene vapor barrier. We did that. Also, we were at the point where we're going to undermine our foundation because of the grades and the conditions that we had to work with. So we poured this concrete wash, which is at an angle, which will help keep the soil underneath the foundation rocks and keep that from moving and shifting. It worked out really well. We did put in a small sump, post and beam construction, and what we've done where the beam has been deteriorated and doesn't have enough strength or didn't have enough strength initially. This is interesting how they tied one beam to another, this steel bracket. And often in these old houses, these pieces of wood were repurposed. For instance, this may have been repurposed here with this mortise. couple holes for pins to tie the tenon, what would have been the tenon going in here. Here's some more wood pins. Let me get back, I got my light there. There's a wood pin up there and a broke off tenon. And we added supports where we thought it was useful. So there are a lot of posts in here. Instead of replacing beams because they're inadequate, we just added additional columns, and that seems to work out very well. Wood columns. In fact, some of this stuff is repurposed. Ideally, these pieces of wood should have a piece of vapor barrier underneath them between the wood and the concrete so no moisture can wick up. But they're holding up pretty well, and I think that's due to the fact that we do have a 6 mil vapor barrier below. This is the foundation of the fireplace above. Storage shelves. We've reinforced some of the structure here because bricks were disintegrating. We use pressure treated. Jumping upstairs for a moment to show you the fireplace. So this is maybe the signature architectural piece. It's a really cool brick fireplace. We added some bricks in the front because some were missing. Just very, very cool. Looks like on this side we've got a wood storage box, possibly. And by the way, we've done very little pointing on this. And then over on this side, you've got another wood storage box on the bottom. And then check this out. This is ultra cool. It's a beehive oven. Really cool. This is the flue that we've got plugged up here. We don't use this fireplace, but we left this fireplace as it was. This is the back side of the original wall. Very cool. Left the patina, the paint, the old layers of paint. Left this old forged swing arm for swinging pots in to the fireplace. Mantle. And this is an example of not spending tons of money to renovate an old building, but just using some Yankee ingenuity, sweat, equity, hard work to make an old building, functional building, without a whole lot of expense. And it's quite a nice space. And complete new 200 amp service. And one more feature I'd like to show you down in the basement. There's the perimeter beam, wood rim joist of conventional framing. That's a really leaky area typically. So what we did was installed spray foam around the perimeter. And this is deep. This space is deep. It might be 16, 18 inches deep. We have batt insulation behind the spray foam as backup to fill up the depth of that cavity. It's really important to seal up this band joist because air enters in this area, and it's the beginning of the stack effect that happens in houses where air enters low and exits high. If you stop it here, you really go a long ways to improving the tightness of your home.